everyone, welcome to DanaRae, and if you're joining me again, welcome back. So today we're going to get our hands a little messy. We're going to make a vase, or I called it a planter, using a balloon and some KS resin. So the first thing, I did pre-blow up my balloon, and then I sprayed it with some mold release, like molds that you would use like for your resin molds. So just make sure you spray enough in there and get it around the balloon, and just pour any extra out. I pre-mixed my resin, and I'm pouring it into my dry plastic container. Just make sure it's completely dry, because water and resin are like oil and water. So just make sure you get it in that container. Pretty easy this time. Do you know, I had a lot of fun doing this project. I think I had seen this done last year. So here's the easy part. You just blow air in that balloon, twist it, and just open that top of the balloon and put it over the cap. I think my gloves were too big, so I just popped it on the top of the dishwashing container. And there was no resin, so it was all good at the moment. So after you get, and I apologize for, I'm just a little off camera, so I will work on that. But anyway, just pour your resin into your balloon. And as you'll hear me at the end of the video, for better results, you're gonna want your resin to be thicker. And later on, you'll see why. And I mean, it turned out good. So just get your resin into your balloon and take your time, no rush. My resin was getting a little warm, but not too bad. And here is where a little bit of my trouble started, when I had to get the top off the container. So I could not get that tie, and I didn't have my gloves, and I had to tie it as quick as I could, and then I had to just go and get my hands clean, because I mean, you don't want resin on your hands, on your skin. So yeah, I had to leave the air in the balloon. I had to tough it out, but I got through it. Okay, so after I got myself all cleaned up, so you just want to roll the resin around in your balloon. And I did, in the beginning, I was supposed to put mica powder in my resin, but I just must have had a mind fart. But just, you want to keep rolling it around, and as it settles, you want to let it maybe settle for like 5 minutes, and then just keep spinning it upside down, kind of like how you do those little sand things, where the sand keeps going down to the bottom. You got to flip it over. But yeah, just roll it around and make sure you're getting an even coat on the balloon. It helps with the final product. So after it's starting to settle, I used my tape, my painter's tape, and just put a cloth over it, because I didn't want my balloon to pop. But so when you set it in there, your resin is going to start to thicken, and you want to just keep rolling it. So let it sit in there for maybe 5 minutes, like I said, and then after that 5 minutes, you want to get up and flip it back the other way so that your resin is getting a chance to coat the inside of that balloon. It's a tedious process, but hey, you got to learn it, and it was fun. And there is, I think that's my last spin. The resin was at the bottom, because you want the resin to end up at the bottom, not the top where you tie it. So this is the next day. The resin is hardened. It's hardened. So one thing, like I had said before, you really want your resin to be thick, because you'll see here shortly when I cut the top of my balloon, it's hard, but it's still a little bendy, I guess. I think that's the word I used. But when I cut it, you're gonna get like a little gust of air that's gonna come out of the top of that balloon. So, and then when you release that air and your resin, well, my resin wasn't thick enough all over. When I tried to remove that balloon away from the resin, my balloon kind of started collapsing just a little bit. It was really thin up by the top, but I just worked with it a little bit at a time. And then, I realized that I didn't have my resin thick enough, so I stopped trying to take the balloon off, because I probably would have ruined my planter. So there you can see I just cut I cut a circle at the top of it, and then when I'm done, I'll show you the resin. It's hardened resin, but it is so bendy. There, see, it kind of folded its shape in, and if I'd have made it a little thicker, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have had that problem. So it's keeping its shape, but as you know, we'll put more resin on top of that. And then I hope I showed that piece of resin. Yeah, it's just so thin that the balloon didn't get a chance to keep its shape. Okay, so that's my stand that I created. Sorry, I'm having a little issue with my camera. But so I already pre-mixed my resin, and this one I used the KS resin, the liquidy split, and I mixed, I think it's 5 colors and then a clear coat. The clear coat was actually my first coat. And before I had ever used the liquidy split, I thought it was called lickety split for the longest, but I guess you live and learn, right? But like I said, you have a very short window to work with it. I kind of wish I would have done my colors backwards. I wish I had poured the cream or the white first and then all my other colors, but it's okay because I feel like the end result was perfect. And just remember, when you're working with the KS resin liquidy split, you don't have very much time. And I learned that actually the first time I ever used it I took my time mixing and it was curing before I could get it poured. So it's a great product, but you have to kind of think ahead of time with that one. And just so you know, I did not have my respirator on, but I have like 4 windows to the right, or I guess depending on which way you're looking. I have windows open and a fan going, so you should wear your respirator, but I had already had a fiasco, so So in this part, I just used, I felt like my colors got drowned out because my initial balloon color was supposed to have color to it. And I think with it being clear, it kind of drowned it out, or maybe I didn't mix the colors deep enough. So I did just little droplets of my alcohol ink. And I loved it. Okay everyone, all done pouring resin, all my colors. I do wish I probably would have put one more coat of resin. When I put my colors on, I use the liquidy split, and that works fantastic as long as you are moving quickly, because there's not a quick playing time with it. But this turned out really good for a first time, but look at these colors. I'm so loving that. So when I was pouring it upside down and letting it drip, this was inside the plate. So I just put little bumpers on the bottom of it. So I will set that right on top. I might put a plant in it. So you see right there and around the top in a couple spots, that's probably, I would probably pour one more coat just to thicken that out. And just to kind of give it that even flow, because I wasn't able to pull the balloon off. So as you remember, I did the balloon, put the resin on the inside. So one thing I recommend, as you can see, like right there, you can see the balloon. I wasn't able to pull that balloon all the way off because when I poured the resin on the inside, the resin should have been thicker. So note to self, make sure your resin is thicker, because if it's not, when it sets overnight and it's time to pull that balloon, it'll be a little bendy, if that makes sense. It won't be as solid. So, but either way, the liquidy split is what I used when I mixed my colors, because I wanted it to kind of cure faster, and it did, and I love it. But yeah, super excited. Those colors are awesome. And I'm probably, I mean, you could probably drill a hole in the bottom if you're gonna put a plant in it. But look at that.
I love it. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. Like, subscribe, comments. Until the next one. See you later.